Okay, so I've just put my feet down from doing our open leg rocker, and now part 2 of this video. So we're going to do our corkscrew. I'm going to take my glasses off because I don't need them. I'm going to roll down nice and slow with control. And I'm going to do those 3 hand options again. So option 1, hands under the hips. Option 2, arms long at the side. I'm not going to do option 3, which is lifting our head off the mat for this one. So I'm going to go with arms at the side, bring my knees in, my legs up. And I'm going to do that little pizza slice again, that little V with my feet, trying to keep my inner thighs together, but controlling this corkscrew with my abdominals. So I'm going to take my legs together, I'm going to swing them to the left, around, and back to the top. And then I'm going to pull them in a little closer toward my chest and go the other way, trying to maintain a nice flat back on the mat as I'm doing this. Exhaling, inhaling. It's not a particular breathing type or style for this move, but just breathe with whatever works for you. If your back is coming off the mat where it doesn't feel really good, just make small circles. They don't have to be big. Your focus is here in your abdominals. Your legs could probably do this all day long, but we don't want this to be a leg move. We want it to be controlled by our abdominals. Around, moving those hips. I got my cups of coffee here, nice and stable. One more, each direction. Last one. And then I'm going to bring my knees into the chest, and I'm going to rock side to side, and then come on up to a seated position for the saw. So for saw, we're going to bring our legs out, mat distance apart, maybe a little bit wider. Feet are flexed, so the tops of my thighs are engaged, my knees are kind of floating, arms out to the side, pulling the ribs away from the hips. I'm going to inhale, nice and tall, exhale, twist, and reach. I'm going to come up, and then I'm going to twist the other way. Up, center, down. I'm going to scooch up a little bit because I'm kind of hitting behind me. I'm trying to reach my pinky finger to or beyond my pinky toe. Coming up nice and straight each time with a tall spine. Big inhale, exhale. The key here is leaving both sits bones on the mat. So what we don't want to do is have to lean like this, lifting that butt off the floor. If that's the case, we're not building the flexibility that we're looking for. So even if that means you have to go a little lower in your stretch to leave the sits bones on the mat, then do that. You'll eventually be able to go further. When I first started doing this a couple of years ago, I wasn't even able to get my hands to my feet. So don't give up hope. You'll get a little further each time. One more time, each side. And center. Okay, come on back down onto the mat. We're going to do some bridges here. So rolling down nice and slow with control. Use that exhale if you need to. And we're going to keep our feet kind of close to our body here. Thinking about keeping the inner thighs. Pretend you've got a ball or some kind of implement or item between your knees. I'm drawing a blank that you're squeezing together. I want you to inhale, curl the tailbone, and then one vertebrae at a time, up and off the mat. Now I'm pressing my big toes in the mat. That's going to help me to keep my knees and my legs squeezing together. And just breathe here. Make sure you're relaxed in the shoulders. They're there to support you, but you don't want to be all tensed up in the neck and the shoulders. A nice long neck in the back here. And breathe. Squeeze. See if you can lift those hips a little bit higher toward the ceiling. I've got a nice long level body here. I'm not falling in. I'm not hyperextending. I'm just nice and level. Breathing here, squeezing those knees together, thinking about the big toes in the mat, and I'm squeezing my butt. Now I'm going to lower it down and then press the hips back up, keeping the inner thighs squeezing together. Lower and squeeze. See if you can come close to the mat or all the way down to the mat. A little extra squeeze and hold at the top. We're going to do 2 more here. Squeeze just for an extra second. I'm pulling my abdominals all the way around from the sides into the center. Up we go, and let's hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, one vertebrae at a time, try to slowly roll down. Tailbone is the last thing that hits the mat. Good. Okay, so we're going to work on our teasers next. So for teaser, bring those legs up into table position. Make sure you're nice and strong here through the back. So instead of arching or really hyper extending, I want you to be nice and flat in the back. My knees are in table position, my arms are reaching toward the ceiling, and breathing is critical here. I'm going to inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth to come up to this nice balanced position. I'm going to reverse that breathing here. I'm going to inhale, and then when it gets challenging, I'm going to use my exhales to get those abdominals firing to slowly lower down. So it's inhale up, exhale, over, inhale. Don't hold your breath here. Keep it a nice fluid breathing. There's a tendency to want to hold your breath in between that transition. Now, if you want a little more of a challenge, if not, if this is enough of a challenge, just keep working through those. If you'd like a little more of a challenge, come up with straight legs and try to get a nice straight back here, forming a V with your body. Nice and tall. Now I'm going to inhale. Slowly lower down, and then when I feel like it, I'm going to pull those legs back in. So let's do that again. Bring those knees in. I'm going to do 1 more of those. If you don't like this with the straight legs, just keep doing it with bent. And pull it in. Good. Bring those knees into the chest and rock side to side. We're going to move into our side kick series. So go ahead and put those feet on the mat and come on over. Press on up. Get yourself into a nice side kick position. So our body's nice and long and in a straight line. I'm going to pick up my feet. I'm going to pike them and bring my toes up toward the front of my mat. So I'm a little bit of a pike. I'm also going to lift this leg up to hip height, and I'm going to turn this leg out a little bit. So I've got that little V shape again down by my feet. That hip turnout helps us get a different group of muscles. So I'm going to leave that hip turned out. I'm going to put my hand here for a little bit of support, and I'm going to flex the foot and go forward for 2, pointed, and squeeze back. Forward and back. I'm pulling my abdominals in so that I can maintain my hips nice and strong and stacked. I'm not falling forward, I'm not falling back. I'm here flexing and pressing back. Squeeze the glutes. Stand in nice even plane. Good. Forward and back. 2 more. If you want to, you can always lower your head down and back. And now I'm going to bring my foot back to the same position. I'm finding length out of this hip. So instead of being here, where my hip is sort of shifted toward my body, I'm reaching out of this hip. It's almost pulling my lower waist off the mat. I'm going to lift up, 2, 3, flex my foot, and squeeze it down. Like I'm squeezing a ball. Squeeze. I've still got that little bit of a turnout in my foot. Up and down. Really focusing on squeezing those glutes. My hips still stacked. I usually inhale as I lift, exhale because I like to get that extra little squeeze, and in Pilates, we exhale on the harder bit of work. 2 more. Finding that length out of that hip. Last one. Good. Okay, now I'm going to leave that heel or that foot flexed, and I'm going to make little circles. These don't have to be big circles. You don't have to go crazy with them. I want you squeezing the glutes, not locking that knee out, and just making little circles. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we go the other way. Like maybe, I don't know, dessert plate size circles. They don't have to be giant. Nice and controlled. Hips are still stacked. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, yay. Okay, last move here, and you probably want to put your hand here to support you. I'm going to lift my feet up off the mat and beat my heels together. That V still in my feet. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, lower them down. And now we're going to do a little inner thigh work. So bring that leg over top and flex that bottom foot and try to find some length out of the bottom leg. And I just want you to lift it up and pulse. So try to get the sensation of squeezing your legs together, if that makes sense. I know this leg is bent and that seems a little weird, but you'll get it if you think about it. Just pulse. Don't lower that foot all the way to the mat. Pulse here for 3, 2, 1, and circle it. Nice and controlled. That foot is flexed, reaching that foot toward the wall below you. Staying pretty stacked here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go the other way. So it may feel awkward one direction over the other. This is my awkward direction. It doesn't really feel like much of a circle, but I'm getting the work and I'm thinking about squeezing my legs together. And that gets that inner thigh. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower the leg. Okay, go ahead and flip on over to the other side. And we will get the other side working. So I'm going to make that nice line with my legs, pick them up, pike my feet, find length out of that hip, and forward and back. Forward and back. In order not to rock back and forth, I've really got to engage those abdominals and to try to keep those hips nice and stacked. So if you find you're rocking and rolling and your body's doing something funny, put your hand here for support. And back. Squeeze the glutes. No particular breathing with this one. Staying nice and quiet with the upper body. You'll put your hand here just as a little test. See how you're going. Maybe you've got one side that doesn't go back quite as far or quite as forward. 2 more. Reach, reach, reach. Come forward. Reach, reach, reach. And then, again, do a hip check. Up, 2, 3, flex and squeeze down. I've got that little turnout in my hip here. Squeeze the glutes. I know you're missing me hearing me say that. Are you enjoying hearing my dog Penny bark outside? She's a communicator and she would like to come in the house right now, but she's just gonna have to hang tight. We're gonna do 3 more here. 2, last one, down. Good. Okay, leave that foot there for circles. So lead with the heel, pull that belly button in. If you find that you're kind of rocking and rolling and moving around a lot, just pull the belly button in. See if that doesn't stabilize you a little bit. Good. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go the other way. This is my awkward way. Not going to look a lot like a circle. And you can see my lower foot. My leg just tried to switch directions without me knowing. My lower foot is also cut. My toes are on the floor with my heel up. You don't have to do that. You can have your foot down here. It's just something that my foot naturally does. And it's great if you can do it. It's like having your Pilates V here. For 3, 2, 1. And I'm going to pick those legs up and beat the heels together. tight, tight abdominals here. Staying in that pike position if you can. For 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower them. If you need to take a stretch break, just pause me and take a stretch break. I'm going to keep moving. So bring this leg over, find length out of this lower leg, flex that foot, lift it, and pulsing. Squeezing the inner thigh or the top of the thighs together. Making sure you've got a nice flex so we get the right muscles. Our inner thighs are not used to being worked. Pull the belly button in. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and now circle. Squeezing the inner thighs together. Good. 5, 4, 3, I'm falling off my mat, 2, 1, go the other way. Last little bit here. Lift that inner thigh toward the ceiling in that circle. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower it down. Good. That's a lot of work for the legs. So you may feel that tomorrow. Okay, come on up into a tabletop position. We're going to do our front plank hold. So for front plank, we're in table. I want you to send your right foot back and then your left, maybe hip distance apart, whatever is comfortable for you. Send those heels back toward the wall behind you. Make sure that your wrists, your elbows, and your shoulders are in line. So you don't want to be like this, and you don't want to be like this. You want to be nice and aligned. Inner parts of my elbows facing each other as opposed to facing out. Not good for you. So that's all the technical stuff. Now let's just talk about the strength of it. I'm tucking my tailbone under a little bit, pressing the mat away, but the other thing I'm doing is thinking of all of these muscles pulling in toward the center to help hold me up in this plank. And don't forget to breathe. You press that mat away a little bit, a little parachute shape with your upper body. And hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop your knee, other knee, and then let's come on our sides for some side plank. So you can do a side plank from your elbow, or you can do a full side plank. So if you're going to do it from your elbow, I'll demonstrate that one first. You can either stack your feet, you can have one in front of the other, or a kickstand. Regardless of which one you use, you want good form. So I don't want to be falling in like this. So if I'm here, but I'm doing this, I need a little bit of a helper. So I'm going to put that leg out there so that I can stay nice and strong. Okay? If you want to, you can also do your plank from up above. Nice and strong. So you pick what feels good for you and just hold it. Even if you're up on your arms here, you can put that leg down and be nice and strong, sending those hips up toward the ceiling, squeezing those abdominals, thinking about those obliques, those side body muscles. Good. Hold it. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring it down, and let's go to the other side. So we have two sides. So I'm going to demonstrate this time down on the mat, but feel free if you like the full side plank to do that. All right, I'm going to come up, and I'm going to have one foot in front of the other. I like to put an arm over my head. It just feels good. It's like a stretch. And again, I'm not sinking down. I'm pressing those hips up toward the ceiling. And I'm holding. And if I need a little bit of support, I'm just going to drop that leg down, give myself a kickstand so that I can be pressing those hips up toward the ceiling. Good. Hold. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And drop it down. Good. Let's do some arms to finish, and then we'll be done with part 2 of today's video. So we're going to do arms without our weights because probably not everybody has weights at home. So you can just take a seated position that's nice and comfortable. And then just take your hands, I'll turn to the side a little bit. Try to keep your arms close together, your elbows together, not like this, like this. Some people don't have that mobility, and that's okay. And I want you to just keep your shoulders down, so try not to bring them up here, and just lift. While you're sitting there, pull that belly button into the spine, because it's just sitting there probably. Poking up, like you're trying to poke the ceiling. Think about your biceps, so right in here. Try to keep those elbows nice and close together. And breathe. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring them down, shake them out, bring them back up. Now, I want you to go 1, 2, 3, lower. Up, 2, 3, lower. Keeping the shoulders out of the ears. Up, 2, 3, down. 2, 3, 3 more. Elbows trying to stay together. It's a little harder. Last one. Down. Shake them out. And then one last little thing we can do is to bring our arms up into goalpost position. And I want you to just squeeze them together, pull them apart. Squeeze and pull. So I'm pulling my shoulder blades together like I'm trying to squeeze a penny between them. Keeping the tips of my shoulder blades heading toward what would be my back pockets if I weren't wearing yoga pants. Squeeze, pull. A little bicep action there. You can go ahead and flex those biceps and make sure you're keeping your shoulders nice and low. They're not creeping up like that. Good. 3 more. 3, 2. Just come as close together as you can with those elbows. 1, and shake them out. Okay, that's it for today. If you don't want to do a whole video, if you're looking for stuff you can do while you're hanging out at home, just do some planks, you know, side planks and front planks. You can do elbow and straight up with the full arm plank. Those are probably one of the best moves you can do. Gets the blood flowing a little bit if you wanted to throw some hundreds in, that very first move we did at the part 1 of the beginning of the series. That'll get your blood moving. So anyway, hopefully I'll be doing another video soon. I'll be adding, I think, a pop Pilates video pretty soon. Take care, stay healthy. I miss you all a ton. Happy St. Patrick's Day, and we'll see each other soon. Bye.